This is gonna be a fun episode if you're arachnophobic, like I am. So one of the key points in the marketing for Spider-Man Brand New Day is that Peter's DNA is mutating. And among those mutations are organic web shooters, like what Tobey Maguire's Spidey has. But while Spider-Man's all-natural webs are a movie original concept, there was a time in the mid-2000s where they made their way over to the comics as well. Once upon a time, back when Civil War was still looming on the horizon and Joe Quesada had yet to one more day Spider-Man's marriage to Mary Jane out of existence, Peter Parker began experiencing some strange afflictions, including multiple eyes, bristly little hairs all over his body, and constant vomiting. The latter of which isn't especially spider-like, but hey, he's the one who's sick, I'm not gonna question it. Eventually, this mutation turned him into a giant spider monster, which we're gonna gloss over because I fucking hate looking at this thing, and then he keeled over dead. Only to emerge, fully human again, from his own spidery corpse. Now with further enhanced strength, the ability to create his own webs, and the ability to form an empathic link with spiders and insects? I feel like that one didn't get a lot of use, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, this only lasted until, ironically, the Brand New Day comic storyline, which undid all of the power changes that Spidey had gone through in the last few years. Yes, I said all. Another set of changes happened in Spider-Man the Other, but that's not important to this week's topic. Hell, the powers themselves are less important than who inflicted them on Peter. See, a big to-do is being made about Sadie Sink's mysterious character and her seemingly psychic abilities have everyone who thinks they know anything convinced that she's actually playing the mainline MCU version of Jean Grey ahead of the X-Men's proper debut once Marvel Studios are done beating a dead horse and bringing back the Fox X-Men for the next two Avengers movies. But the storyline has a different answer. And I can't say it's a more straightforward concept, but it is what I hope they're going for instead of shoehorning Jean Grey into a Spider-Man movie that already has Hulk and Punisher. This is Adriana Soria, who was part of a military experiment late in World War II that was trying to recreate the super soldier experiments that made Captain America. Adriana's success was not immediately apparent, which led to her being locked up in a military asylum for years before breaking out, but in truth, the experiments had given her powers. By activating her X gene. Yep, she's a mutant herself, although apparently her powers are also linked to the web of life and destiny that spider totems get their powers from. I'm not sure how those interact. Anyways, decades after her escape, Adriana reemerged with a dastardly plan to... Okay, this is gonna need some additional context. So apparently, a third of humanity possesses an insect gene, the lingering remnants of when we split off from insects on the evolutionary tree, just go with it. Adriana, also known as the Queen, has the ability to psychically control people with that insect gene, turning them into loyal drones. So her plan was to set off a bomb that would kill all humans in a 600-mile radius without this gene, and rule over what remained with the survivors. And with Spider-Man as her mate, because what better way to prop up your brand, I guess? The mutations he experienced were actually a direct result of her forcing a kiss on him, with a mutagenic enzyme in her saliva prompting his transformation. That's gross on multiple levels. With that in mind, I'm really hoping that Sink's mystery character is actually the Queen, who's taking control of New Yorkers by exploiting the latent insect gene or some other such nonsense, and with Spider-Man's built-in arachnid powers being why he's the only one immune. Even if it's clearly causing some other issues with his DNA. But I guess we'll find out. Next week we're going to talk about what Marvel should do with the Hulk in this movie, if they weren't cowards.